Welcome to Stream Dreamin'. If it's not an adventure, you're not doing it right. So I took a little trip up the Oregon coast. I got some great photos, got to spend some quality time with the Bare Bones all-in-one cooker. I'm telling you, this burger was epic. Holy cow. Took some more great photos, a couple of great sea stacks on a cloudy, misty day. Got an early morning visitor, gobble gobble. This guy was looking for love in all the wrong places. And got a nasty surprise when I went to drain my tanks. That is the tube where you store your sewer hose. You'll notice there's no hose and there's no cap. The cap's no great loss. It was a horrible design, hard to work, never really got in there right anyway. But I do miss that hose. But all is not lost. I'm going to show you how to solve this problem. If you ask your local Airstream dealer the necessary accessories that you need to buy when you get a trailer, he's going to tell you, get an extra sewer hose. Why? Because there's a good chance you're going to lose it. I'm not the only one that's had this failure. This is a common problem. It's so common, in fact, when I lost mine on the Oregon coast, I went into the local Ace hardware store and they had 20 hoses. 20. Now this is a store that has 1, 2, maybe 3 of most items, and they had 20 sewer hoses. I asked the store manager, said, why do you have so many? And he said, because we sell them. And I said, who do you sell them to? He said, the people who lose them along the highway. I'm like, really? He says, oh yeah. He said, we'll sell all 20 of those and restock at least once, maybe twice, just this season. Now that's a lot of sewer hoses to lose. So that cap disappearing is not an uncommon problem. But what follows is an elegant solution. It makes everything a little simpler and more practical. And you're much less likely to ever lose a sewer hose with this modification. I found these on Amazon, and I think it's a much better design. So let's get back to this. If you look at the flange that mounts that tube against the underbelly of the trailer, you can see 2 lag bolts. There's 2 on the other end as well. It should be a matter of just popping those off and putting the new end cap on and reinstalling. But as I'm about to find out, there's a little bit more to it. As I pull that screw out, I have the stinking suspicion something is wrong. Pulling this one out, I can hear the backing plate spinning around and realize that there's no way to reattach this without having access to the other side of that underbelly. That screw came out of something solid, this one not so much. The backing plate is just spinning around there as well. Have no idea why those weren't secured in place, but they weren't, so we got to address it. And to do that, we're going to have to take this stabilizer off. It's not such a big deal. There's 4 bolts, I think. Anyway, let's get you oriented. These 2 holes are where the sewer storage tube mounts. This hole is where the jack mounts. We'll have to remove this rivet if we're going to slide a backing plate up under that skin. Now, we'll also have to remove this rivet and maybe the one next to it. But I'm struggling a little bit to get this rivet out. You just drill until the top comes out, and usually the rest of it just pounds. But for some reason, I've got a little scraggler of a piece holding that in place. There, got it. Now, this is 2-inch by 1/8 inch aluminum stock. And I just got a rough measurement there to see how much I'd need. Now, I can slip that under that or on top of that underbelly skin. And that underbelly skin is really thin aluminum, so it can't support anything. You can't screw anything to it. It'd be like trying to mount something to a piece of paper. It's just not going to work. Now I'm just playing with angles, and I realize at this point that if I put it in at that angle there, I can take advantage of the existing hole that Airstream used to mount that gas line. So Now I'm just playing around with it, looking to see where it goes, and I'm looking at the hole where I have to mount that storage tube. Okay, now I'm looking to mount or to make some marks. Here we go. Now I've got it all figured out. If I want to get it parallel with those lines that I drew on the underbelly and insert it to a depth of that line that I drew on the stock. Now I'm just trying to line up the hole. Here I've realized that if I just get the hole lined up, I can get a screw in there. And if I get a screw in there, then I can pivot it however I want. There, the hole's lined up. Now I'll put this screw in. Okay, now that backing plate is in position. It is not going anywhere because it has that screw in it. We're going to come back and rivet it in place. So when we take the screw out, it stays there. And it's there in case we have to ever replace that storage tube. Cutting the aluminum stock is easy. I just used a thin metal cutting blade on my jigsaw and then file the edges so I don't get a splinter or cut myself. Make a mark, drill a hole. Now insert this one. You can see it's a little bit too tight here, so I'm going to remove that rivet as well. Just kind of wobble it around. Not quite enough. That top is stuck on there. Just a little more there. You can see it just popped right off. Now there's enough space I can slide that under there with a little bit of ease, line up the hole, and I'm thinking I can use one of those self-tapping screws, but I can't. I need a bigger hole. All right, get a screw in there. Okay, now it's held in place. So I'll drill 2 more holes, one outbound here, and put a rivet in there. And this riveting tool is just horrendous. Then I'll put another rivet here, just like Airstream had, and put that gas line right back where it belongs. Zip, zip, done. All right, the gas line is secure, and so is the backing plate. Now we'll put a hole here. Rivet, get that secure. And then one more rivet. Now that backing plate is secure. All right, we're going to secure the other one, another hole, and another rivet. Then we've got to tighten the bolts on that pan to the right. Now with these backing plates, you could mount and unmount this storage tube as many times as you want without an issue, and it will just be the 4 bolts. So we've solved this problem forever. All right, zip, zip, get these bolts tight, and we'll go to the other side. Now, on the other side, you can see that hole there. That is the drain hole for the battery box. I've installed lithium-ion batteries and removed the drain, so I have easy access. If you still have AGM batteries, you'll have to remove the drain if you're going to slide the stock in. All right, I'm going to slow this down now. I drew a cross on this hole so that when I slide it in, I can look through the mounting hole where I need to mount the storage tube and look for that line. If it's going left and right, then I know one thing. If it's going east and west, I know the other. So I can find the location of it much easier. All right, got it lined up. Now I'll put a screw in there. Boom. And the rivet. Okay, one more rivet to rivet that in place. Again, you need 2 anchor points for these backing plates, and the screw is just a temporary one. All right, now we can take that screw out and we're ready to mount the tube. once we get the new end on. I cut the old end off with a back saw. You could use a hacksaw. You could even use a kitchen serrated knife, or a serrated kitchen knife, I should say. Let the glue dry a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to mount it. And it's super simple. 2 screws. I'm going to pre-drill the hole in that stock for the second one. Okay. There we go. That side is done. Come over here, mark the holes. Pre-drill a hole. Put in the screw. Pre-drill a hole. Put in the screw or leg bolt. Shazam. Now that's done. All right, we'll put the stabilizer back up. This was a little bit of a challenge. I had to use my forearm to hold it up there. Got 1 screw in, and then that's sufficient to hold it. These other 2 are just a matter of lining them up and tightening it down. Now watch how it sucks that that belly plate up. There we go. Now everything's nice and tight and secure. And it's a great clean installation. Now look how nice this is. It's just that little lever and it opens the door. Slide in the tube. Compress it just a little bit. Close the cover. Little turn on that lever. And just for grins, put the carabiner in there as a backup. All right, it's done. Simple.